Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I am here with my first layout for the Hip Kit Club January 2016 kit, and this one is called Be Silly. So these photos are actually from September of 2016, so I don't have a title card because it's not the first layout for that month, but these are just some random photos from the month. And it actually ended up being a really good layout to do with this kit because I was able to pull some of the brighter, more random colors from the cards that were there and make it come together on one page because it was such a random collection of photos. First thing I'm doing though, I trimmed out all of my photos and laid them where I wanted them, and I always plan that out when I print my photos, so that was already pre-planned or pre-scheduled or however you want to say that. So I didn't actually do that as part of this video. It was already planned out. Now I'm just going through all the cards. There are 4x6 cards. I need 3 for this layout because I only have one 4x6 photo. And then I need 4 3x4 cards because I don't have any full photos in those pockets. I usually don't do a full 3x4 card as a photo. Usually I have the photo printed a little bit smaller and then I mount it on a 3x4 card. So I'm just going through all the cards, auditioning which different ones I want. And then I will settle on the ones here. These are the 4 that I will be using. Now, because they're not Project Life branded, I do go ahead and pull out a Project Life card and just trim down the rest of the 3x4 cards to match that Project Life card, so that when I'm actually putting it in my album, all the cards line up perfectly back to back. I don't glue them together. I probably could and probably should, but I haven't really had much of a problem with them falling out of the pockets, so I just leave them as they are. I really like the mix of colors on this layout. I think it just makes the photos pop a little bit more. None of these photos are very awesome quality. They're all kind of darker. I think a lot of them were taken either at night or inside, so they're just not necessarily the best quality. They were just taken all, I think every single photo here is every single photo here is a phone photo. So, and this was before I got my newer phone. So the photos aren't necessarily like top quality, so having them printed a little bit smaller with brighter colors kind of helps offset that. Now I have a little bit of Kaylin's handwriting down here at the bottom, and this was September. He started school at the very end of July last year, and at this point in time this was September, and in his school they learn cursive in kindergarten, and it's because he's in a Spanish immersion school. I don't know if I've talked about this before. He's in a Spanish immersion program at a school, and to help the kids differentiate between English and Spanish, because they're learning to read English at the same time they're learning to speak Spanish, they put everything in English in print and everything in Spanish in cursive, and it just helps their mind kind of click back and forth between the two languages. So Kaylin, because of this, he had to learn how to write in cursive and read in cursive in kindergarten, which is, to me, kind of blows my mind because we didn't learn how to write cursive until 3rd grade, and then I don't even think that they teach it in most schools anymore, at least not in North Carolina. So he was learning how to write in cursive, and so this is kind of his first attempt. Not really his first attempt, but we were out at lunch one day and he was drawing on the kids' menu, and we weren't telling him to do it. He was just doing it on his own. So I kept the menu because he was writing his name in cursive, practicing it, which I thought was really kind of cute. Now his cursive a year later is so much better, and he can speak Spanish and he can read and write in cursive and read and write in English, of course. So it's just amazing to me how much he's learned in 1 year. Looking back at this, we are at the end of August now, and this was September of last year. So it's just amazing to me how the mind, especially the mind of children, they just learn and pick up things so incredibly fast. So I took one of the little labels from the kit and did my journaling, and I just drew some lines on it. You can see my ruler there sitting to the right, and it just says, Kaylin has really been practicing his handwriting and his cursive. So proud. Now there's these pink chipboard word strips, and so I pulled a few of those out. One says happy and one says hip hip hooray, and I put both of those down there on that card. Now that card, the You Are My Lucky Star card, is actually an old Gossamer Blue card from a previous kit that I had in my stash. It was just some leftovers of a kit I had worked with before. I wasn't liking the card that had the 2016 on it, and so I just pulled out that Gossamer Blue kit card to use instead, and I really like it. It pairs well with the cards that I used from the kit. It's got that teal color and then the white as well, so it just pairs really nicely. Going through, adding a couple different things. I added a title onto that card with the football tickets on it, the ones that say Subway, the red ones. So we go to a local high school football. Any of their home games we try to make it to, and so I had kept 2 of our tickets, and then I used the different alphas in the kit and put So Much Fun. And then I'm also doing a little bit of titling up here on this top card. It's just a picture of Kaylin and I making faces. I can't remember where we were, but we're sitting somewhere eating dinner. Actually, I think that's our favorite Mexican restaurant. And I just put Be Silly, and then I used the little pink word strip that says Life is Too Short. Now these photos I love. So these 2 photos is a picture of Kaylin wearing a football jersey, and my child loves sports and has always really loved sports. And he, usually children go with what their parents choose, but my child has decided which teams are his favorite teams. He did not go just with what my husband liked. Now he does like the Giants because that's who Ernest cheers for, but he chose the Seahawks as his team, and there's really no rhyme or reason. He just liked their name and really liked them and likes Russell Wilson, and he kind of looks a little bit like a little miniature Russell Wilson would be, especially when his hair's a little bit longer and a little bit puffier. So I took a couple of pictures of him in his jersey and then added a little label with some journaling. I just put this boy and his love for sports, our little pro football player. I have this 4x6 card, and this is the one 4x6 card that came in the kit that I will not use as is. And it's because it is a vertical card, and I really only scrapbook with the Design A page protectors unless I'm making a different sized insert. And so since that one's vertical and it's got the journaling lines on it, I really can't change the orientation of it unless I just use it as a background card, and I really don't want to do that. I love journaling lines, so I decided to cut it apart and use the journaling lines on different bits of my different layouts. So I just used a single line from that card, and I put he chooses his own favorite teams. I should have listed his favorite teams. Maybe I'll do that on another layout because I have tons of photos with him wearing his football jersey or in playing basketball in different team shirts and things like that. So one of these days I need to make sure that I include who his favorite teams are since he is so opinionated about it. I just used the edge of that gold label to create this filler card with the ampersand, and I am going to use some of those little tiny wood veneer stars to just decorate that. And I pulled out my EK Success photo labels punch here, and I'm punching out the packaging that came with the kits. Not with the kit. That came with the cards that came in the kit. And it had kind of I think it was like a gray diagonal stripe on that packaging, so I'm just punching it out and using different labels, and I'm making a ton of them. I'm just using it until I can throw away that little piece of paper and not have it anymore, and then I'll keep that in with the kit. And if I don't use it, then I'll have all these little labels that I'll add to my stash. If I do use it, then hey, I've used the packaging for something productive. Yes, it did have, I'm looking at it now, it did have little gray diagonal stripes on it. It was a white background with just little gray diagonal stripes. I'm adding another little bit of that journaling card, that 4x6 journaling card that I cut apart, and I'm adding some journaling lines onto this label, and it just says, Kaylin drew a portrait of me, so his aunt sent their copies of it. So one day, we have a little whiteboard that Kaylin has in his room. It's a whiteboard on one side and a chalkboard on the other side, and sorry, I feel like I'm talking extremely fast. But it had a whiteboard on one side and a chalkboard on the other side. So Kaylin drew a picture of me. And at first he drew a picture of me because I got new glasses last year. And I have been wearing contacts most of the time. So it was really a big change for me to be wearing glasses. So he drew a picture of me wearing my glasses. And then he made me cross my arms in the picture, and then he had drawn a smile and took the smile off and did a frown. So he thought it was hilarious that he drew a portrait of me looking all mean with glasses on and a frown on my face and my arms crossed. So he wanted me to send it to my 2 sisters, his aunts. And so they all immediately responded with their imitations of this photo. So it was just kind of funny. I thought it was a funny little thing to include in my project life. And then I'm going to use these little what are they called? Circle alphas, and put Crazy Kid under that. And just doing a little banner with a puffy heart from the alpha sheet. So at first when I had unboxed this kit, I really wasn't sure about the gold alpha, because I was like, what the heck? I don't know how to use this. I have a hard time with gold, especially gold alphas. I've kind of embraced other gold things, but the gold alphas still kind of throw me for a loop. So, but funny enough, it's actually working really well. I used it once in this layout with the fun, and then I took a little gold heart and put it on 2 different places. I put one up at the top by the Be Silly and one down here on the Crazy Kid card. Oh, and the other thing I really liked about this kit, so there are a couple things I really, really liked. I really like the journaling lines, and this is just the first layout, so I know this is going to be a little bit different probably when I talk about it after I've used it more. But I really love the journaling lines, the tiny journaling lines, because I just obsess over tiny journaling lines. And I really liked the labels, the little 4-pack of labels that came in the kit. Oh, that is so helpful, especially in Project Life. If you don't have cards with labels on them or cards with journaling lines, having the labels that you can add is extremely helpful. And I also like the number of cards you get, because I always cut apart cards and use them as different decorative elements on the page. All right, so the journaling up by the photo with Kaylin wearing the little glasses from the eye doctor says, time for new glasses since now I'm allergic to my contacts. Kaylin was loving the sunglasses. So he was playing with the sunglasses that they give you when you get your eyes dilated. And then it's just a picture of me with my new glasses. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout, and I will be back soon with another layout with this kit. All right, guys, bye.